Well, hello and good morning. My name is Carrie. This is Pens and Tea, and today you're in my kitchen. And I'm about to sneeze, so how about that? If you guys follow me at Pens and Tea on Instagram, you will have seen a little photo that I posted last night about me cleaning out all of my pens. And I decided to do a deep clean of most of them. So like the Twsbis, the pilots, things like that, like actually taking them apart, removing the piston, getting in there and getting the nitty gritty out. For example, one of the pens, I had a blue ink in there. And when I took it apart to clean it, I found some orange ink, in the little piston bits. Well, not in the piston, I suppose, in the little rubber gasket here that keeps it closed. Doesn't really affect performance necessarily, but every once in a while, I think it is good to take them apart and give them a good clean. I did get a direct message from somebody after I posted that picture saying that they would be really worried to do that because they'd be worried about putting it back together wrong or not knowing how to put it back together or even not having like silicone grease, things like that, not knowing what to do with it. So I thought I would make a really quick video and show you how I put them back together. I've made videos similar to this in the past, and I wasn't going to make this one because typically these don't do super well in the algorithm. And I know I've been talking a lot about that lately, but it's kind of necessary because YouTube is really coming down on us itty bitty little content creators. Where if one single video doesn't do super great, then your channel kind of starts to die. And unfortunately, this one has hit that period of YouTube. I've been there before. I'll claw my way out like we always do. But I really actually want to ink up one of these pens that I cleaned out yesterday. So I want to do this now. Plus I have some worker dudes showing up to my place to help fix some stuff, and I want to be able to make sure this is done beforehand. So we're filming this at 7 a.m., ladies and germs. So let me flip the camera around and we'll get started. It's going to be very interesting to put these together while I'm looking through a camera, but we're going to give it our best shot. So these are the pens that I cleaned out last night. Like I said, jump on over to my Instagram if you want to see that photo. And I mean, if you're already wanting to see a link to Instagram in my description, you might as well check out the link to Patreon if you want to help support me and the content that I make here. But these are the pens, and for today's purposes, these are some of the things you may need. So if you really want to go like super intense, you can get like this happens to be an actual like jeweler's like glass, magnifying glass, sent to me from the folks over at Gravitas Pens. This will help if you want to make sure that there's nothing, in the tines of the pen. If you want to make sure that it's like, perfectly aligned. It is really difficult to show you through through a lens here. But this is definitely not necessary. There we go. But it's handy if you really need to inspect your pen, especially if you're doing any mods to it. I won't need this today, but it is something that you could take a look at. The two 100% necessary things that I'm going to need is a wrench. This one is provided by Twsbi. You get them with every Twsbi pen. Another thing that is provided by Twsbi is a little container of liquid silicone grease. This one is still in its wrapping. I have used theirs before, but I don't really like it that much. It's a little bit messy. I much prefer the more like jelly like silicone grease that you can get pretty much from any fountain pen provider. This one happens to be from Wonder Pens in Toronto, but you can even go to like a hardware store and get 100% pure silicone grease. Just make sure it is 100% pure silicone grease and it's not mixed in with anything else. And then potentially, if you don't want to get it on your fingers, which I don't care about, you can also use some Q-tips. One of the things that the Q-tips are really handy for is if you want to ink up a pen that hasn't fully dried out yet. So like this Pilot Custom 823, still has ink in the barrel. And by ink, I mean water. Now, it does still technically have a little bit of ink in the barrel because I didn't clean it out super, super well. This is the only one I didn't like go nuts over because I'm going to put the exact same ink back into it. But I figured since I was doing it to the rest of the pens, I might as well give this one a little bit of a flush, you know, a little bit of a I care for you. But you can use a Q-tip to dry out the inside of the barrel. Or if it's completely dry like this Twsbi, then even better. The Twsbi is the one that we're going to put back together today on camera because it is the one that Twsbi quite literally tells you to put back together. But you can, like I said, it will void the warranty, but I take out the back end every once in a while of a Pilot to clean it out, and I do that with the exact same Twsbi wrench because it has the exact same markings here. So it is done the exact same way, if I can say that one more time. Camera stopped recording. So with the Twsbi guy here, there is no extra little O-ring like you have on the Pilots here. It just has a flat top. So there's only one rubber gasket that you have to keep a hold of, keep in charge of, anything like that. Now, there is a specific way that this gasket has to go back on to the piston itself. If you are not 100% confident that you can remember, then you can do two things. Either A, take a picture of it before you disassemble it, so that way you know for sure, or trial and error. So basically the way that it's going to go on is so that the more narrow end is towards the metal part here, and the wider end is towards where the pen and the nib will be. And you will see some gaps in between. If you put it the other way around, where the wider portion of the gasket is towards the inner ring here, you'll see that there's no gaps in here. And what'll end up happening is when you go to insert the pen, it'll come off. So if that happens, no big deal. Just means that you have accidentally put it in the wrong way. Again, no biggie. Just take it out and redo it so that there's a little bit of a gap here. Then you can go ahead and take your silicone grease, just a little smidgen, and pop it around the gasket. And then I usually take whatever leftover I have and just put it around the metal threads here. And then you're good to go. So you're going to take your barrel of the pen, make sure that the wider end here is not the end that you're inserting. You need the little threads on the inside here. And you just go ahead and you pop that piston right in there. And then just finger tight the barrel. And you can take just a teeny little turn, like the tiniest turn with that rod. And then go ahead, make sure it's functional. And it is. Then, if you wish, you can also put a little bit more silicone grease on these threads. I'll do it just for funsies. Again, you want to just put a little bit of silicone grease goes a long way. It really, really does. Just make sure that you don't get any on the inside here. Otherwise, you may seal off the ink barrel, which would be no good. And that, my friends, is how you fully disassemble and reassemble a Twsbi VAC 700R. Like I said, if you happen to put that gasket the wrong way, it's no big deal. You can take it apart again and put it back on again. The very first time that I did it, I put it on the wrong way. So don't feel bad if you do. It happens to us all, but it is really, really easy. And now you're good to put whatever ink you want in there. It's really good if you have like shimmering inks and you really need to get up in there. Like I said, Diamine Polar Glow is a very easy maintenance ink for the volume of sheen that you get in that ink. It doesn't stain, which is great, but every once in a while I do still like to deep clean it. because if you happen to let it, hang out a little too long, sometimes that red sheen can get a little crispy in your pens. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of my pens here. But if you found this at all helpful, let me know what videos you want me to make in the future. Do you want me to take apart the pen? Do you want me to clean other pens? What do you want to see? Let me know in the comment section down below. And while you're there, like I said, check out the link in the description to my Instagram and Patreon if you want to help support me. But otherwise, just watching these videos every Monday and Friday and the occasional Tuesday is all the support I need. So guys, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.